Nigeria is 65, and behind every milestone of our nation's journey stands the strength, the sacrifice, and the silent labor of its women. They have been the traders who fed our cities, the teachers who raised our leaders, the mothers who carried generations, and the activists who shook the foundations of power. The truth is simple. The story of Nigeria cannot be told without the story of its women. Decades before independence, Nigerian women were already writing history. The Aba Women's Uprising of 1929, a revolt against colonial injustice led by the fearless market women, shook the empire. In the 1940s and 50s, women like Fumilayo Ransom Kuti challenged both colonial authorities and traditional structures, demanding freedom and equality. Across villages and towns, women formed cooperatives, built schools, and sustained families in times of crisis. When men went to war, women kept the nation alive. At independence in 1960, the promise of a new nation was also the promise of new possibilities for women. They entered classrooms as educators, hospitals as nurses and doctors, government as administrators, and politics as pioneers. Women were often the invisible architects of progress, building the civil service, running local economies, nurturing communities. They were the heartbeats of a young nation finding its feet. Today, Nigerian women are everywhere, breaking ceilings, shaping destinies. They are lawmakers and ministers. They are farmers feeding millions. They are scientists pushing boundaries, entrepreneurs driving innovation, artists and athletes carrying the Nigerian flag high across the world. And in moments of national trial, during the struggle for democracy, during health crisis, during conflict, it has always been women who stood at the front line, organizing, protesting, healing, rebuilding. Blazing the trail in nation building today are women like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General, World Trade Organization, the first African and first woman to head the World Trade Organization, a symbol of global excellence in governance and economic policy. Then we have Amina J. Mohammed, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, championing sustainable development and women's rights at the highest levels of global diplomacy. Mo Abudu, the Chief Executive Officer, Ebony Life Media, transforming Nollywood into a global brand and putting African storytelling on the world stage. Odun Ayo Eweniyi, co-founder Piggyvest, a fintech innovator driving financial inclusion for millions of young Nigerians. Toby Amusho, world champion and record holder, 100-meter hurdles, Africa's first female world champion in track and field, rewriting history in athletics. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, author and feminist voice, a literary icon whose work and advocacy continue to shape global conversations on gender and identity. Ashisat Oshola, footballer, Barcelona Femeni, five-time African Women's Footballer of the Year, inspiring a new generation in sports. B. Ezekwesili, public policy expert and activist, former minister and co-founder of Transparency International, tireless advocate for good governance. Hawa Ojoifo, founder, She Writes Woman, mental health activist, breaking silence and stigma around mental health in Nigeria. Folorunsho Alakija, business leader and philanthropist, one of Africa's most prominent women in business, investing in education and empowerment. Yet, for all their contributions, women remain underrepresented where it matters the most: in politics, in decision making, in the boardrooms of power. The promise of equality is still more dream than reality. Nigerian women have never asked for charity. They've always asked for opportunity. They've demanded inclusion in leadership, not as a favor or tokenism, but as a right. They have proven again and again that when women lead, communities thrive, corruption fails, and the nation rises. The struggle continues for more seats in parliament, for equal pay, for access to education and healthcare, for protection from violence, for the chance to shape the Nigeria their labor has built. At 65, Nigeria stands between promise and reality, and so do its women. They have carried the nation through its darkest hours, and they continue to push it towards its brightest dawn. The question is not whether Nigerian women will shape the future, because they already are. The question is whether Nigeria will finally give them the space, the voice, and the recognition they deserve. Because the story of Nigeria, the story of its women, past, present, and tomorrow, from the past to the present and into the future, the truth endures. The story of Nigeria is the story of its women. And at 65, their contribution is not just history.